we will be doing some painting or drawing, whatever you want to call it, and we will be whispering. We will be trying to unwind and relax after a long day. So I started this drawing. What we are using is pastels, and we are doing wet media paper. I also have next to me some linseed oil and this oil mixed with the pastels is what does the blending. The blending action comes from using the linseed oil. You can use any oil for this purpose, but professionally, linseed oil is what we use. And in addition to the pastels that we're using, I'm getting some support from watercolor pencils. And though these are intended to be used with water, it works with linseed oil as well. And the main reason for using these pencils is to help with definition. Saludos de Guerrero, México. Saludos, bienvenido. Aquí hablamos español también. Gracias por unirte a ver el live in English. Hello, Cool Bank. Thank you for joining and watching. Greetings wherever you are watching from, and thank you for the compliments. You can stick around if you want to learn a thing or two about what we are doing here. Hello, Mikey. Thank you for joining. So, the key here is in the materials and the pencils that we are using. Thank you, Josue, for the compliments. So let's draw some of the stems. We will be doing little lines for the stems in this beautiful green, and we will be using a lighter green for the highlights, and I will get support from this blue watercolor pencil to get some shadows. Josue watching from Mexico, thank you, thank you. I am from Mexico as well. You're very welcome here to keep watching. So let's do a red flower. I think I'm going to follow the same shape that we are doing. the other flowers. I hope everyone is having a good day. The purpose is to relax here, to unwind from the overstimulation that we get in our daily lives. So one thing that I've been doing for this drawing is I'm using a brush and I'm dipping it lightly into the linseed oil, and I'm using the oil to blend in my colors. And once I have a good base for my flower, I go back in with a darker shade. And this shade provides me with the shadows necessary to give shape to the flower. And I'm gonna take a lighter color for this one. In the middle, I want to do some orange and some yellow. The orange gives the center of a flower some shadows, and the yellow gives it some highlights. And I'm going back in with my red or pinkish pencil to give some definition to the flower. And I will ensure the middle is where it's supposed to be. Before we do the stems, I'm going to add another flower. For this one, I want to do some more purple and pink. And this one, I will make it a bit smaller. So I'm going to take my pink here and I'm going to do the body of the flower. And since I have a blue watercolor pencil, I'm going to use it to get some definition. Before I do the center of this flower, this one I will be using my watercolor pencil. And now, let's do some more stems, some flower stems. So just doing some lines and going back in with the lighter green. And with this lighter green, we get some highlights. If you guys like what you see, please make sure to like the stream subscribe so we can reach more people that may be into art as well. So we'll take the blue, give some definition to the stems. And next I want to do a blue and purple flower. This one I want it to be as big as this one. So let's start with the outline of the flower. And then we will pick a color for the body, and I will be mixing some light blue and some pink. And before I add the pink, I will lightly dip my brush into the oil and do very light blending. I don't want to blend too much because what can happen is the colors will look gray. Hello, Eduardo. Yo soy de México, pero vivo en Estados Unidos. If you guys like the stream, please give it a like, subscribe, so we can reach our people, our audience. So now that I've blended the background, I will add the pink. And before I do the middle, I will do some outlining with the blue pencil. Brazil, thank you for watching all the way from Brazil to the BAME. That is the only Portuguese I know. So let's make some space for the middle of the flower. And that way we can use our lighter yellow and do speckles of that yellow. I don't know if you see the difference on camera, but that gives it another dimension. And before I do the stems, I want to do another red and orange flower. This one, I want to make it more circular and round, like the first one. If you're still watching, let me know what time it is, where you're watching from. We're gonna use the orange or red pencil to give some definition to the petals. And I might use a tiny bit of blue to give it some depth and some shadows. Then I will go back in with orange. And let's do an orange center. And now I want to just add a bit more yellow here to this one, and let's do the stems. I will take my deeper shadow, my deeper shade of green, and then we'll follow with the lighter shade. And lastly, for the stems, we'll use our blue pencil. And one trick that I like to do is to get some oil in our brush, and we'll pick up a little bit of that pink, and we will do some stippling to simulate tiny flowers in the back. Let's continue with the next flower. Let's do some more pink and purple. I will take first my lighter shade of pink, do some beautiful highlights. And then carefully with the purple shadow, now we have highlights and shadows. And from here, of course, we will do the middle of the flower. And we will give it some definition with our blue pencil. And because I want to do more details, I will do some tiny, tiny lines with this red pencil. These are watercolor. And before we do some of the remaining stems, what I want to do is play around with this pencil. Give some more definition to these flowers. Salam alaikum. Yusuf from Turkey. Make sure to like the stream and subscribe if you like the art. So we will be giving definition. And that way, our flowers have picked up some more color. I will go ahead now with our shade of green, and I will create some more stems. And we'll give it dimension with the lighter green, really giving it some highlight. And then we will use our blue to give it more depth before we add the flowers, the tiny flowers, to these stems. So now I will do what I was doing earlier, taking my brush with a little bit of oil, pick it up from my pastel stick, and then just stipple to create those tiny flowers. Lastly, we go in with our pencil. And that way we have two shades in those flowers. Now I will give it some finishing touches. Make sure we have some flowers in the distance. Make sure it looks full. And I will accentuate a little bit those auroras in the sky to give some balance to the entire drawing. finishing touch. I will take my yellow pencil and do the same, just blending those colors. Making the sunset more colorful. If you enjoyed this stream, make sure to like, subscribe if you want to see more. So you don't miss my lives. This way, we have a beautiful sunset. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you